always fun doing the dishes at the cabin. Alright, first full day here at the cabin. I'm about to get to work. First off, there's some work I have to do on this side of the cabin here. I gotta drain that hole, so I'm gonna have to dig out this ditch. But before I do any of that, I'm gonna clear some workspace. If you guys remember, last time I was up here we found that old golf club weed whacker. Handle broken, I put a new handle on it, but we're gonna be seeing how that handle works this trip, so let's get to it. I was just kind of walking the area. Gonna have to use the off-grid lawnmower golf club to clear a path up to the outhouse so I'm not getting my shoes and pants wet every time I go up there. But when we left last time, we threw a lot of the food that we didn't use and everything into the old outhouse hole. Well, looks like something had gotten into that. I drug an old thing of butter over to this stack of dead branches that I made last time. And it's kind of hard to see on camera, I think, but it looks like probably a bear, something pretty big. Grabbed the old can of butter, brought it over here, bedded down for a while, and just went to town on the butter. It's just a huge depression. This thing was, you know, pretty high from the last video, but yeah, I just thought that was interesting. It's beautiful out here. There's a loon's been calling while I've been working. Never gets old. I need to get some friends that are good at golf, give them a case of beer and this thing out here. I think our property would be cleared pretty quick. I'd say it's pretty effective. This is a birch handle, and when I put it on, the wood was still pretty wet, so I'm gonna have to tighten it up a bit. Just 2 square nuts there, but that should be pretty easy. This thing cuts very well. We'll see how that works, but yeah, now it's nice and tight, good to go. while clearing that brush, I found this can. It definitely has some carnivorous tooth marks in it that go all the way through. So it's just a reminder of some of the things that are out here. For the record, this was not my can. I think Geology Rocks, but I don't know much about it. This rock is pretty cool though. When I was taking apart the dock last trip, I stepped on something under the water. I was in about waist deep water and used my feet, kind of shimmied it up, and finally got this thing out of the water. No idea what it is, but there are not very many rocks out here. Just the fact that one this big was out in the lake, I don't know if it's brought out here by somebody or who knows. Maybe it's been here since this place was covered in ice. This looks like a point where the beaver comes in and out. And this would be the Beaver Lodge. He's put a lot of insulating dirt on top of it since the last time I was here. Almost couldn't even tell it was the lodge. When we were here in June, it was nothing but sticks. He hadn't started mudding it up yet. There's a bunch of these little frogs too. Yeah, the lake is a lot higher than it was last time as well. Last time I could walk clear down and stand next to the lodge over there, but not this time. trench, all of us digging and clearing our workspaces to fix this problem. It is just so soupy in here. And that's essentially what this whole foundation was built on. There's not very many rocks in this soil. If you dig down about 5 feet, maybe a little bit more, you get to a nice like concrete grade sand gravel mix. But this is just clay and soupy. I am finding a lot of rocks in there. This one has some concrete on it. These are just pure rock. There's another rock over there. So it looks like when they built this place in 1984, they kind of knew this was going to happen, perhaps. They dug their foundation footings, filled them with rocks, and then put the foundation piles on top of those. I'll just do the best I can to fix it. It's a good thing I'm wearing hip waders. This thing's up to just below my knee. And it's just so soupy. Alright, so what I'm quickly realizing is the more I dig, the muddier it gets. This was the same corner of the house where when we were kind of clearing the land out from around it. It was right here where we found ice in June, which not too uncommon in Alaska, a lot of permafrost here. But what I think is happening, I think this half of the cabin, for perspective, north is, the front door faces about north. This side of the cabin right here, a lot of water. All the footings are sunk in water, whereas on the other side, just what, like 16 feet away, everything's pretty high and dry. If you look at some of the triangulation, this one right here is broken. Just the water, the ground has so much water in it. I think there's a lot of frost heaving that happens over here, which is where the ground freezes, expands, ground comes up, so much so that it cracked that triangulation right there. It did the same thing here in the center, to a more severe degree, if you can see that right there. But on the west side of the cabin, all the triangulation is fine. I don't think the ground moves too much there, although it still is very close. So I'm going to give this several hours, if not a few days, to finish draining and see what happens. I might do a little bit more excavating around it. But I also have to decide what I want to do there. I definitely want to get something underneath this corner of the cabin. But I think possibly a future project years from now would be just moving this cabin up to higher ground, possibly in vicinity of the outhouse up there.